This is a different article on the same topic. This is in Yahoo News by Matthew Petty. And so this gets into how leaked emails reveal Jeffrey Epstein's connections to the surveillance industry. After his arrest for sex crimes, Jeffrey Epstein tried to get into a new line of work, surveillance. In 2015, he partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporty Homeland Security, now known as Carbine. Leaked emails showed that Epstein was using Barak to seek out opportunities in the surveillance industry and build connections with powerful figures around the globe, including American businessman Peter Thiel, the former director of Israeli signals intelligence, and two people in Russian President Vladimir Putin's circle. After he was first caught sexually exploiting teenage girls, Epstein had pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution in 2008. He served a little over a year in detention. Meanwhile, he invested his wealth in bizarre projects, including a ranch to breed women with his DNA and efforts to identify a mysterious particle that might trigger the feeling that someone is watching you, according to the New York Times. The leaked emails show that Epstein was also interested in more mundane means of spying on and manipulating people, which overlapped with technologies governments often pursue. This interest crossed borders. Barak's email inbox was quite quietly posted by Distributed Denial of Secrets, a website widely considered to be a successor to WikiLeaks, on a file-sharing platform for verified journalists and researchers in May of 2025. The contents came from Handala, a hacker group named for a Palestinian cartoon character that has been leaking files taken from senior Israeli officials for several months. Although emails were posted without technical metadata or cryptographic signatures that would allow their authenticity to be verified, they include dozens of images, videos, voice recordings, and scanned documents from Barak and his friends and family that have never been published elsewhere. And they include information that was not publicly known at the time of the email leaks, including a reference to Epstein's birthday book. The emails below, which have not been published elsewhere, paint a picture of Epstein as a man very eager to be at the nexus between private money and public surveillance. While they were hammering out the Reporty investment, Epstein invited Barak to come to a meeting with Thiel, co-founder of PayPal and the surveillance contract for Palantir, in May 2014. Although Barak couldn't make that meeting, Epstein insisted that Barak spend real time with Peter Thiel and offered to set up a dinner the following month. Yeah, he said, thanks, Peter Thiel could be very interesting, but I'm flying to Europe something next month. I have Peter Thiel on the 19th in New York, if you like, as well as the former president of the Maldives. Peter Thiel can come to dinner on the 9th. You can stay until then. Barak wrote to a different business associate a few days later, without mentioning Epstein's role, that he and Thiel would have a first date and probably spend it just talking geopolitics with an unnamed third person. In that email, Barak added that he had met Thiel once before in Davos, Switzerland, but speculated that Thiel probably doesn't even recall it. He said, going to meet him for dinner tomorrow. He asked to bring another person with him. I don't know who or why. I've met him once in Davos some 2 years ago, and then it's redacted. Probably he doesn't even recall. Let's see. I was told by the host of the dinner that we'll probably spend it talking just geopolitics. It's a first date. I think he's of huge potential to accelerate things by sheer reputation he's got. No way it's a waste of time. Thus, I'm going to do it, and we'll see. It's not clear what happened in that meeting. In February 2016, however, Epstein pitched Reporty to Valar Ventures, a fund co-founded by Thiel and two close partners. We'd love to hear more about Reporty. Are you in New York City in the near term, or would a phone call make more sense? Thanks for thinking of us, Jeffrey. Valar Ventures general partner Andrew McCormick wrote back. Yeah, after meeting with the Reporty team, McCormick rejected the proposal as premature, adding, we remain fans of what you're building and hope to re-engage in the future when the story comes into clearer focus. In 2018, the Founders Fund, another firm co-funded by Thiel, joined $15 million Series B funding round for the company, which by then had been renamed Carbine. While Epstein was trying to deal with the American tech sector, he was portraying himself to Russian elites as an apolitical wheeler-dealer. In April of 2015, Epstein introduced Barak to former Russian Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Sergei Belyakov, who then invited Barak to attend St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. That wasn't the only business Epstein had in mind. I spoke to Sergei afterwards. He will help. I suggest you send him a note that states that you think Putin and his advisors would benefit from spending some time with Jeffrey to discuss markets, currency, and the financial system in the new world of zero interest rates. And that I am not political, Epstein wrote in a separate email to Barack. According to the Russian opposition news outlet Dossier Center, Epstein offered Belyakov advice working around U.S. economic sanctions against Russia. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon alleged in July of 2025 that the U.S. Treasury had files on Epstein's transactions with now sanctioned Russian banks adding up to hundreds of millions of dollars. Barack kept Epstein abreast of his contracts with another Russian businessman, Viktor Vekselberg, a Putin ally. While scheduling a Thiel meeting, Barack asked Epstein if there was a time of day to have coffee with the man referred to as VV and Victor. In April 2015, Barack and Epstein asked him what he thought of Fifth Dimension, an intelligence company backed by Vekselberg. The pitch slideshow that Barack set promised the transformation of massive scale data from multiple feeds into actionable intelligence utilizing artificial intelligence in an automated real-time manner, and it included mock-ups of surveillance screens and maps tracking individual people. Epstein wrote back that Barack should call him on the phone. Although it's not clear what came of the call, they didn't discuss the project further. Fifth Dimension was shut down in 2018 after Vekselberg came under U.S. economic sanctions for alleged election meddling. Throughout their relationship, Epstein signaled to Barack that he was interested in keeping abreast of the security-related technology, emailing Barack articles about cyber warfare, emergency preparedness, Russian nanotechnology, and Unit 8200, the Israeli equivalent of National Security Agency. I enjoy strategy and strategic planning, and at the same time I am amazed by the rate of which technology has moved into the private sector, Epstein mused in an April 2015 email, adding that many corporations are looking for a new military-like perspective on management. Yeah. He also said in that email, we of course have a technological focus in Israel for many, many years, mostly computation. Now biology and its genetic advances are changing the landscape faster than most can imagine. I feel privileged to be able to contribute some old methods to new industry. Reporty, a startup focused on overhauling 911 emergency dispatch technology, could bring Epstein into that world. One of its co-founders and directors was Pinchas Bucharest, a former director of Unit 8200. Bucharest told Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper that broke news of Epstein's involvement in 2019, that the investment was structured to conceal Epstein's role. Barack brought the money, and as far as I'm concerned, it's his. I don't know Epstein and haven't met him. Yet the emails showed that Barack scheduled a virtual meeting with Epstein and Bucharest together in December of 2014 and told his lawyer to alter the terms of the investment based on Bucharest's input. After Epstein was arrested in July 2019, Barack announced that he was dissolving his investment partnership with Epstein. Neither Barack nor Bucharest are still on the board of the company. In April 2016, Barack and Epstein asked Epstein to invest in Levitation, an electromagnetic imaging startup. Couldn't see a product, they don't have it yet, but they're leading experts on advanced radars. Made sci-fi-like achievements in military products. Barack wrote, adding that Levection's staff were all veterans of Israeli weapons company Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. Levitation received part of a $1.5 million contract with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in 2020 for developing electromagnetic imaging and artificial intelligence to detect threats and concealed items in wide open areas. The company went out of business in 2022. Gideon Levita, former Iron Dome missile defense engineer, is now running a similar startup called Scannery. Its promise is to perform mass airport security tile scans of crowds using miniaturized radar. Anyway, this article goes on. I will put a link in the description if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching.